Hey guys, it's me, Simone. This video is going to be talking about how to make your own stencils. This is the first part video. This is going to talk about making your own patterns, where to get your patterns from to make your own stencils, and tips and tricks on making it a little easier if you claim you can't draw. In our next video, we're going to talk about materials. The materials I use to make my own stencils, the tools I use to make my own stencils, and the cheaper ways of making it too, and the things you'll need to prep and make your stencil. So let's begin. Alright guys, I want to talk about printing stencils and everything, but before I talk about your stencils, let me give you some background. I bumped on stencil making kind of by accident. If you know by now, Walmart is one of my favorite stores to go to for craft supplies. It's because sometimes they're a little cheaper, not always, but sometimes they're cheaper than going to Michael's, Hobby Lobby, AC Moore's, you know, you get the gist. Those stores. So I love to go to stores like Target and Walmart to find art supplies because they are cheaper, because they're not an art store. Sometimes the prices are not how Michael's will set their prices, because they know what the items are. So I like that. So I went on Walmart and was searching through stencils. I couldn't find what I wanted really, and I scrolled down, passed by a stencil cutter. I was like, what's a stencil cutter? Clicked on it and looked into it. I'm like, oh my gosh, they have stencil cutters? Because after cutting stencils with an X-Acto knife, I was like, heck no, this is not going to happen again. So I looked into it. I was like, wow, this is a stencil cutter. I really want one of these. I can make more stencils. The only thing I had an issue with was it was 15 bucks. It went down to 11. I wasn't wanting to spend that much money for a stencil cutter. And it looked just like a soldering iron or a wood burning tool. So I was like, there's no difference. So I ended up getting a different tool that looked just like it because it was $3. I didn't want to spend that much money on it, and I'll tell you how it works on the video when I make my stencils. So I did that, and I did my research, and I've gotten to this point now. Now, it is a little hard to find stencil patterns that aren't just images of an actual stencil. You don't want to copy actual stencils that an artist has already made. You want to find free images to make into stencils, so be careful when you look into that. I recommend just going and doing a Google search for free stencils, then going on Pinterest, because Pinterest might be a little misleading. A lot of the images that I saved to my board were images that are actual stencils that were like for sale, and I was like, oh crap, I can't use this. So that's what I'm wearing. I'll show you the ones I have here. So this is my one. I'm so excited for this stencil. This is from freestencilgallery.com. I don't know where this one's from. I don't think the thing turned off with me. And then this one right here is from Stencil Revolution. So really easy. This is just my binder that I keep my stencils in. And yeah, it's empty. There's not many stencils in here. It's like, that's it. Okay, actually though. There we go. We're pretty much done with it. I'm so excited to make more stencils. So these are the stencils I printed off. I printed off 3 because I'm just beginning. I'm still a beginner. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, you know. And for your first stencil printing, I recommend doing something easy until you get the hang of it, and then going harder. These are 2 easy stencil patterns. This one's a little easy because I'm going to talk about that a little later. But don't go with super intricate patterns that are going to take forever for you to figure out how to cut them out. Do simple and then move on. Once you print your stencil pattern on, you're going to either have to label it, or it'll be pretty obvious which part of the image you're going to cut out. I print mine all out in black and white. Most of them come in black and white, so that's the only option you really have. You want to make sure you when you print your image, you know which part you're cutting out. So when you get down to the part of cutting, you're not like, do I cut the white out? Do I cut the black out? Like, what am I cutting out? Okay. When you cut your part out, you want to make sure that whatever part you are cutting out is not I'm trying to explain this. Okay, I'm trying to do this. What you're cutting out an image does not make up the entire stamp. So if I cut out the white out of this, all I'm gonna be left with is this humongous just frame, because once I cut the white out, there is something attaching these black parts. They're just free flowing. So they're just going to fall out too, which is not going to make a good stencil. So when you cut out, you would make sure, if I want to cut the white out and leave the black here, I have to make sure I draw lines that connect each of these together, which is more work than you have to do. But when you do that, so that's what you want to look into when you're cutting. Is this going to make the image to a bunch of pieces, or is it actually going to make me an actual stencil? It's just ideas. This is pretty obvious that you can cut the black out, but sometimes it's a little challenging. This is pretty obvious. You're going to cut the white out. Can be challenging. This one can be a little deceiving. At first glance, you might think cut the black out, but if you look at the black carefully, they're all connected, and most of this image is made out of black. If I cut all the black out, I don't really have much of a stencil left. You gotta be careful how you do it. You could do it, but you have to be very careful and make sure you have restrictions. You don't make sure everything doesn't connect to each other. But for the sake of that's just too much time and effort, I'm going to cut out the white. And this is not going to be a stencil. This is going to be a mask. But it's just my personal preference. But if you're confused and you figure out which one you want to cut out, make sure you write it down. The other two images I showed you were pretty obvious, but if this is a little confusing for you, or you print an image that is confusing, just write it down so you know and you're not confused. Okay, so I will put down the links to the sites I got my stencils from, so you can like get your stencils from it too. The next option you have, guys, is making your own stencils. Very simple, very easy. And I'm going to show you some of my stencils here. Very easy. Now, if you're like someone, I don't have any ideas for a stencil I'm going to make, you can always look on out. What? See, I'm going to mess up every video I make. You can always look at stencils that there are actual stencils and get ideas. Oh, I'm sorry. For what you want to make. Of course, you can be careful that you don't copy. If you see a stencil that you like, make it, but make it a little different. Tweak it. There are so many stencils that are very similar, but there's tweaks to them which make them different. You can do that too. And make it. If you like a chicken wire stencil, you can always just make a chicken wire stencil. Make sure it doesn't look exactly like the artist's chicken wire. You can make the chicken wire stencil a little lopsided and more unique. And you're making your own. So you see what you want, and you can make it similar. But, of course, don't try to copy. For me, sometimes I look up images. Like, I wanted to have a camera stencil, and I wanted to have a coffee drip stencil. There are coffee drip stencils out there, and there are camera stencils out there. But this is my version of it. So, I could do that. No one has name over coffee drips. So you have different stencils. When you print or make your stencils, you want to make them in the same size that you are going to make your stencil. So I shouldn't make this small if I'm trying to get 12 by 12 stencil. You want to make sure your template is as big as you want your stencil to be, because it's going to be very challenging to make it bigger if it's way smaller. And working my patterns, you can look at fabric. Fabric has some unique patterns on it. Fabric, everyday. Just like think of different things with different combinations. It's not hard. But if you're like someone, I don't know if I can do that. I don't have any creative juices in me to draw patterns. Very simple. And very easy to do it. All these patterns right here have one thing in common. Can you guess what's the thing that they have in common? Can you? No? Can't guess? I'll tell you. What they have in common is that they're all made out of me tracing one shape. That's what they have in common. So basically what I did is I got a piece of index card. I folded it in half like this. And I cut out a shape. So we're just going to do this really long hexagon or octagon. Yeah. octagon. What's a hexagon? Whatever. Octagon. Very long octagon. Like, I'm so bad at this, my shape sometimes. And what I did is I put this on a piece of paper, and I just traced it, and then traced it, and then traced it, and then traced it. And you see the image. I just went down, traced it, and I connected them together. So they make a stencil. Like this one, I got the hexagon, that shape. Did this, that turned it, did this, turned it again, did that. Very simple. So I'll just put this up away, get my piece of paper out. I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna take through my paper. Very simple. I do mine in permanent marker so I see them better. So you can do it in any kind of marker you want to do it in. Where's I gonna do this one? Because I'm gonna do it green. And what I did is just sit there, traced out the image. Moved it. I gotta make sure they touched a little bit. Moved it again. I'm not trying to be perfect with it. Moved it again. I hope you can't hear that blow dryer. Not blow dryer. Leaf blower in the background. And then I just kept moving it around to make my own pattern, and you get the gist of it. I'm just gonna do this last one here. And I made myself a pattern. Bam. Very simple, very easy, and it didn't take too much of, you know, composition wise. I'm trying to think about it. Sorry. My mother made me sick. So that's an option you guys have if you want to make your own stencil, but I'm not creative enough to make my own stencil. You are creative enough. Don't down yourself. Think of what you want. If you're like, I want paint splatter stencils, you can easily make a paint splatter stencil. There might be paint splatter stencils out there, but they don't own every paint splatter. So you can always make it. Like, I wanted a stencil that looks like how we like that, to drip paint on top and the bottom of our pages. I wanted a stencil that looked like that. So I made this one because I didn't see any stencils like that. Come out, find out, somebody just made a stencil that looks just not like just like this, but has the same principle as this one does. But mine looks way different. And I didn't get my idea from them, but I thought it was very funny. I was like, oh look, I was coming out, guys, look, got my own stencil, unique design. No one's done it, but like it is a unique design, but someone else just doesn't like this. But hers is way different. She has like one side is like short drops and the one's just long drops, but this is just all together. So, but you have that idea of making your own stencils. A lot of times I make stencils of what I want. So if I want a stencil that looks like a purse, I'm looking everywhere, high and low. I make the stencil however I want it. Like these stencils, I made. Sometimes I wanted a cheaper way of making my girls. I draw a lot, so I made these stencils that are my girls, but I don't have to draw them. So if I want a specific girl, one of these girls, I can make a ton of these girls. And yes, I drew these myself. I can do that. I even made one girl that was just plain, so I can do whatever I want to do with her. So if you like, I don't know how to draw, you easily look up a face of a girl and make the face into a stencil too, if you want to. Just don't copy too much of it, because I know there's tons and tons of girl stencils out there. I want to make my own version of something that I really liked, you know, my style too, that looks better in my book. But you have that option if you want to do something like that. So I hope this video helps you guys with ideas of how to make your own stencils. Of course, I will link down below of where I got the stencils I printed off. What I do is just put them all the images I want, I put them all in a Word document, and then I just save them. And then when I'm ready to print, I go through and print the ones I want. Do them off. So I hope this is a helpful video, guys. Stay tuned for my next video where I talk about the material I use, how the tool I'm using that's not a stencil cutter works with it, and the material you want need to buy. So you need to buy so you can make your own stencils too. So I hope this video is helpful. I hope you guys make your own stencils and save some money. Thank you guys so much, and have a nice day. Bye.